Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Phoenix N, and this is Mass Effect 3 multiplayer demo. Um, I picked this up a couple of days ago, and I like it quite a bit. I've been playing it a ton within the last couple of days because I'm actually off work, shockingly. Um, but anyway, it's a very detailed and deep demo. Most demos I find are pretty limited. They don't have much to them. They're pretty simple. You get to play the first 10 minutes of the game and things like that, and that's about it. Or you play like maybe a couple of levels. Uh, this one is different. You do get to play like the first, I don't know, 10 minutes of the game, and then you get to play about 5-10 minutes more of a later level, probably a third, half the way through the game and whatnot. So you do have the opportunity to do that and play the part of the single player, which I would suggest you do if you haven't played the game before, because it'll give you an idea of what the single player feels like, kind of the style of it. If you haven't played Mass Effect 2, it is very similar to that, a little more fluid and things of that nature. One of the cool things they did, they added a better melee with it, and they also added like you can like roll and run and things like that easier, so it makes it a little more fluid and interesting actual gameplay instead of just straight RPG elements more than just gameplay. It kind of focuses a little more on both, kind of evolves the gameplay, which is pretty cool. But the multiplayer is actually kind of where this demo shines. For one, it's kind of like a mix between an RPG and a horde mode. You get a character, or one of 4 classes. In each class, you start off with one character. You can unlock more characters. You can unlock different weapons, and each different character has different abilities, and you can upgrade those as you see fit. And you can upgrade the different classes, and you can get different guns and different ammo packs, and many other things. And so there's a whole ton of things you can do with the demo. You can cycle your appearances, what you look like, what type of race you are, what type of, whether you're a Asari or Drell or human or whatever, male or female human, stuff like that. So there's just a whole ton of things that you can do with the demo without even playing the game, just with the different unlocks and leveling up and things like that. So it's really interesting in that part, and it kind of keeps you coming back for more because it is interesting. I think the final game also includes like a co-op as well as the horde mode, so it's actually a pretty flushed out multiplayer experience that I like quite a bit. I don't know how deep it's going to be once the official game hits, whether it's going to be a lot deeper than the demo, it's just going to be a little bit more with like more maps and more enemies. I don't know. I'm assuming it's going to be a fair amount deeper because very rarely do they put out a demo that's pretty much the entire multiplayer experience on there. But it is very intriguing, it's very deep, it's very interesting. And I think it'll have you coming back for more, so it's definitely something you want to check out. As you can see with during this gameplay, I'm actually playing as an infiltrator class, which means I have I snipe, it's a little more long distance. One of my classes is a Vanguard class, which is a shotgun, and you have different abilities that actually coincide with that, so that you can, one of them is called like, I don't remember what it's called, but it basically makes you almost teleport super fast and run into somebody, hit them, knock them on the ground, and then shoot them with a shotgun and finish them off. Things of that. So like the abilities and your class kind of coincide with each other to fit really well with the weapons and things of that nature. So it's pretty well balanced. It's pretty interesting. There's different levels, so you can be really difficult, there's not really easy, but fairly easy. And that's pretty cool. There's like 10 levels and a couple different maps on the demo. So basically it's worth checking out. You should take a look into it. I think you really like it. Another thing, I will say this about Mass Effect 3, in my opinion, whatever that may or may not be worth, Mass Effect is the best series in this console generation. I like it better than Bioshock. I like it better than any of the Call of Duties or Battlefields or Halos by far. I like it better than even Uncharted. I really love this series, especially because it feels like a series. What I mean when I say that, it feels like, because Game 1 affects Game 2, affects Game 3. If you let this person die, or you make this decision to have this person die, to kill this person, to help them, to not help them, to allow this species to live, to help these people, to not help these people, to let these people live, to not let these people live, as it relates to Game 1 and Game 2, not trying to give away any spoilers, Game 1 affects Game 2 and whether people are there to help you, whether you have allies or you don't. Game 2 affects Game 3 and whether you have allies and whether you don't, or whether this person's alive or they're not, whether they survived, whether they didn't. You directly control in a lot of ways whether that happens, and in a lot of different ways throughout the games. I don't want to give away spoilers. And I think, to me, that's why the game seems to me as the best series, the game series, in all of this console generations, and to be honest, maybe ever. And to tell you, Mass Effect 2 was actually voted by IGN the best game out of any game this console generation. I mean, that includes Call of Duty 4, that includes Red Dead Redemption and Uncharted 2, and it includes BioShock, and all those. It was ranked #1. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's IGN, I don't like them, and are super critical of this or that. But it says a lot about the game initially, that it was thought of that highly. So this kind of sounds almost like propaganda to get you guys to play this game, I guess, in a little way, in some ways. But, to be honest, this is definitely something you want to check out. It's definitely something you want to look into because, well, it's just simply worth looking into. It's a very, very solid game, and it's a very solid series. So, I don't know what else to say besides that, other than if you do decide to buy Mass Effect 3, I would suggest, before it comes out on March 6th, of you buying Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2, which realistically are pretty cheap now. You can probably buy both of them for under $30. Buy those games, play the ever-living shit out of those games, beat them, make the decisions, and I promise you, I doubt very much that you won't enjoy the game, that you won't finish the game, you won't like the game, and that'll kind of prepare you for the Game 3, because otherwise you're just going to have to go with stock decisions that to start the third game where you don't really get the implications with the game, realistically, which would kind of suck. Another good thing, lastly, to say about the game, that in my mind kind of makes a good decision-based game like Mass Effect, is when you pause and you have to decide what you're saying to this person, and you really sit your controller down and spend 10-15 minutes trying to figure out what you want to say. You get a snack, you take a piss, you're like, I don't know what I want to say, what do I do? Do I want to say this? Is this going to piss off this person? Or do I say that and this lets these people die? Or do I not let these people die, but it pisses off this ally and they don't become an ally? And so it really has weighty decisions and puts weight on the decisions you make as a gamer, as the player, as Commander Shepard in the game, which is just unbelievable, and it's really good, and it creates those feelings of dread and the feeling of indecisiveness and a heavy decision-making process that I don't think I've ever felt in almost any other game to the extent I have with Mass Effect. So, that being said, this is an amazing game, this is an amazing demo, and I would 100% recommend it, and I hope you guys take my advice and at least give it a try. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening to me ramble, rant, and hype on the glories of the Mass Effect series. Peace out. Thanks for watching.